Refugee Mother and Child, written by Chinua Achebe, deals with the sadness of death. The writer conveys this message by creating a tragic atmosphere through the introduction of shocking images and strong words, thus bringing tears to the readers. No Madonna and Child could touch that picture of a mother's tenderness for a son she soon will have to forget. It portrays Virgin Mary and Jesus by saying Madonna and Child and compares them to the mother's love for her son. It tells us that the son is dying and will pass from our world soon by saying, a son she soon will have to forget. The use of sibilants in son she soon adds to that. The air was heavy with odors of diarrhea of unwashed children. It emphasizes the hardships people face in the refugee camp, unhealthy and suffering children, unpleasantness, the way they describe how dirty and ill the other children are. The poet wishes to bring home the enormity of the catastrophe. He did not want us to have just a vague impression of the horror, but rather know the full enormity of it. He therefore stresses the details of the smells, the diarrhea, and the dirt. The air was heavy with it, oppressive with it. Unwashed children with washed out ribs and dried up bottoms struggling in labored steps behind blown, empty bellies. Most mothers there had long ceased to care, but not this one. The children are washed, but the ribs are washed out. The flesh is all but gone, leaving just the skeletal frame of the children covered by skin with no flesh. It is also shown using alliteration in behind blown, empty bellies to emphasize that. The other mothers in the refugee camp didn't care about their sick child or children dying since they know nothing can save them. It seems that the other mothers don't care about their child or children anymore. This makes the mother in this poem seem even more heroic and tragic. She held a ghost smile between her teeth, and in her eyes the ghost of a mother's pride, as she combed the rust-colored hair left on his skull. The mother has a ghost smile because of her sadness. She has the ghost of a mother's pride in her eyes because she cannot keep her son alive. Ghost has obvious connotations of death, and the fact that the smile is being held between her teeth and the mother's pride in her eyes bespeaks her desperation. The child has rust-colored hair, showing that he is decaying, and it is on his skull, showing that he is extremely sick. And then, singing in her eyes, began to carefully part it. It shows that the mother still has a tiny bit of happiness that a dying child is still alive, how she is sort of positive in a situation like this. She shows that she does not want to cease to care like the other mothers did to their children. That it is contrast to this poem because of the slight happiness present. It makes the scene even more touching and tragic. In another life, this would have been a little daily act of no consequence before his breakfast and school. Now she did it like putting flowers on a tiny grave. The mother is trying to avoid feeling sad while she watches her son die, trying to remember the happiness she spent with him soon before he got ill. Or alternatively, the contrast reflects our lives and how lucky we are not to be living in a situation like this. Alternatively, it might reflect how her life could have been if she were luckier or the war had not happened. Achebe has seen many horrifying things in his life as he is from Nigeria, where more than 60% of the population lives under the poverty line. He shows us the themes of death with the dying child and love with the mother and how she is described in the poem. Achebe is pointing out to us the horrors of warfare and the accompanying hardships, the starvation and the deaths. Achebe was an ambassador for Biafra, and it was his duty to bring the struggles to the attention of the international community. This poem has a similar purpose, although wider in dimension, because he is able to talk about the internal hardship of warfare.